Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina wa habibina wa shafi'ina wa nuri qulubina wa qurrati a'yunina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa salim. Wa aina ta'alluma wa ta'alim wa tadhakkura wa tazkir wa nafa'a wa intifa' wa nifada wa istifada wa al-hatha ala tamassuki bi kitabillahi wa sunnati rasulih sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصوفي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصوفي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك العلم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Alhamdulillah. We're quite, on, I think we're on point. I think our fiqh is 1.5 years, if I'm not wrong, 1.5 years. So we just did 1 year this year. Then we have 1.5 more year to cover the rest of the book. I think so. I hope it's not a 1 year course. If it's 1 year, they're way behind. If it's 1.5 years, then it's just on timeline. But I'll check Ustad again. I kind of think it's a 1.5 year course, not a 1 year course. The previous years it's always been 1.5 years. But I don't know, maybe for you all he decreased it, I don't know. Okay, but I'll ask lah. I'll ask whether I'm going too fast or whether I'm going too slow. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, we're on a chapter on Janazah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فصل الذي يلزم للميت 4 خصال. Section, there are 4 things compulsory in the preparation of a deceased. The first one, غسله وتكفينه والصلاة عليه ودفنه. The first one is to wash the deceased, to shroud the deceased, to perform prayer upon the deceased, and to bury the deceased. Alright, so there are 4 things that are compulsory to do with regards to the janazah, to the deceased person. Alright, so the first point, point number 1, for the Muslim deceased person who did not die in the state of ihram or nor as a martyr, when a person dies, it is mustahab or recommended that his closest mahram of unmarriageable kin closes his eyes and jaws in order to make his joints flexible, gently removes his clothes and covers him with a light cloth and places something heavy on his stomach. It is mustahab for the one washing the deceased to be trustworthy so that he can be relied on to wash the deceased completely and so forth. If he notices something good, it is sunnah for him to mention it, but if he notices something bad, then it's unlawful, haram for him to mention it. It's considered to be backbiting. It is haram to look at the aura of a deceased or touch it except with a cloth. It is mustahab to not to look at or directly touch the other parts of the body except with a cloth. It is wajib to perform the prayer of a deceased. However, it is haram to give a bath and offer the prayer upon a martyr. The obligation is fulfilled if a single Muslim male who has reached age of mumayyiz of tamyiz prays over the deceased. It is recommended to perform the janazah prayer in a jama'ah, in a group. It is mustahab to pray in a masjid, or in makruh to offer the prayer at a cemetery. And so, mashallah. And so this is later on we'll go into the different sections, right, of what is compulsory on the deceased with regards to washing and shrouding. So first and foremost, right, when we go into the chapter of janazah, we'll go all the way back to the adab of visiting the sick. Right, because in Islam, we always, whenever you come into the chapter of janazah, you will always begin with the adab or the etiquettes of visiting the sick. Right, so first and foremost, the sunnah of going to visit the sick is a highly emphasized sunnah, and the one who leaves their house and moves and walks towards the house of a sick person, 70,000 angels follow him and seek forgiveness for him for having done so. And I said that it's a highly emphasized sunnah to go and visit the sick. However, the sunnah is only valid if the sick actually appreciates it. Right, so if the Sikh does not appreciate you visiting the Sikh, it's not sunnah anymore. The sunnah is only valid if the Sikh actually appreciates it. Right, so if the Sikh person is happy if you coming, to visit the person, keeping the company, making them happy life. If you visit, only then it's sunnah. But if the Sikh person is not happy at all, if you're going there and or the Sikh person would much rather be left alone, like they don't want people to come near them. And some people are like that when they're not well. They don't want that people come and see them in the state that they're in, because you feel disgusted by yourself, and you've not bathed for how long, and you have like all kind of tubes onto you, and you're lying down, like you feel very exposed, that kind of thing. Right, so you kind of like, for a lot of people, that kind of state, they only want their close family members. They don't want anybody else to come, right, and see them the way they are. Right, so it depends, eh? Right, so just don't always just say, oh, it's a sunnah, therefore, I should go. No, check first. Are they okay if someone coming by? Are they comfortable? Right, so the whole point of the sunnah is to bring happiness to the heart of the one who is not well. So if you know that the person is not going to be happy if you being there, then don't go lah. Then you're not fulfilling any sunnah. The sunnah is to make the person happy. That's the whole point of the sunnah. Right, so this is the beginning of the chapter, right? So you start by visiting the Sikh. Okay, in coming to visit the Sikh, there are two types of Sikh. Right, one type of Sikh is a person whom, like, you kind of like, there's hope for that person to recover and continue with life. So basically, it's an illness that will go away lah. Right, so it's normal kind of illness that will go. For example, like a broken bone, that kind of thing, a fracture, something that is not terminal. Right, so when you go, and it's still sunnah to go and visit the person, but when you go there, you make dua that Allah will cure the person, right, and then you remind the person, right, of Allah's favors onto the person, and that they should tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, because sickness is a form of expiation of sins. So they should tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah the sins will go away quickly. And so you advise them lah, and you say dua of visiting the sick. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك ويعافك. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك ويعافك. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك ويعافك. And you say it 7 times to the sick, right? And you place your hand on wherever the illness or the ailment is, right? So that is the sunnah of doing so. And then to encourage the person to taubat, and then encourage the person to change their lives, as when they get better, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. However, write the dua down. The As'alullah al-Azim Rabbil Arsh al-Azim an yashfik wa yu'afik. Okay, the dua for visiting the sick is أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك عفوا أن يشفيك ويعافيك. Okay. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك ويعافيك. Okay, you do this 1 more times, 10 times, 7 times, 7 times. Okay, do it 7 times with your hand on the place of sickness for the ill person. Okay, if you come and visit ill person whereby it is a terminal illness, so there's a very slim chance of this person actually surviving and continuing with life, right? There's a high chance that the person is going to pass away. So if you come and you visit a sick person, you see that there's a case of the person, then the sunnah is to give the person husnul zan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to remind the person that how much goodness they've done in their lives, like that inshallah they should be hopeful in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they'll be given a good reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So you speak to them to have a good opinion that Allah has forgiven you, Allah has embraced you, Allah is forgiving your sins, inshallah, right? So you cannot give them that kind of understanding. Okay, so and at best, if you notice that this sick individual has like forms of jewelry that's on the person. So like, for example, a ring on the finger, or earrings, or whatever that is on the person, or even like a golden tooth, like things that can be valuable and will be part of the inheritance of the person, then try your best, some or other, to remove these things from them, because once they pass away, they're going to get stiff, and it's going to be very difficult, especially for rings, to remove rings from the finger, right? It's going to get stuck in the finger of the person, and you can't remove it, but there's inheritance in the ring. The ring is inheritance, right? So then there has to be there's a full fiqh around it as to how to handle disease with a ring that's stuck in the finger. So if you're visiting a sick person, especially an elderly relative or grandmother or whosoever, and you see that there's jewelry on that person, right? And the jewelry has been there for years and never take out, right? So sometimes old people have rings on their fingers that has not come out for the longest time, right? So so you need to try and figure out a way to get it out, right, of that person. Otherwise, after the person has passed away, to clip it. I had to clip it out. I had to cut it and to clip it out from that person. Okay, so the first thing, right, for when it comes to preparation of a deceased, right, for when a Muslim deceased who did not die in the state of ihram or a martyr, right, for ihram, and for the martyr, right, the person in the state of ihram, right, he is washed, he is bathed, he's washed, but without any smells, because he's still in ihram. The one who dies in ihram maintains the state of ihram. The one who dies in ihram maintains the state of ihram, and in fact they are shrouded with the cloth of ihram. The ihram cloth will become their kafan. Okay, the martyr is not washed, the martyr is not bathed, and the martyr is not prayed over, because you can only pray over a janazah that has been bathed. You cannot pray over a janazah that has not been bathed. Right? So the martyr is not bathed, and the martyr is not prayed over. For the one in ihram, they are bathed and they're shrouded in their own kapan cloth, and then they will be prayed over. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. They will be raised on the day of judgment doing talbiyah. They will be raised on the day of judgment saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik, on the day of judgment. For the martyr, mashallah, to die as someone in ihram also quite nice. Mashallah, very nice. It's very nice to die as someone in ihram, die in Makkah or die in Medina, then be buried in Makkah or Medina. Mashallah. And you be prayed upon also by all the jama'ah at Makkah and Medina, right? The people who are in the masjid, so whenever they pray over you, mashallah. However, for the martyr is not prayed over, nor is the martyr washed, and of course, the martyr is shrouded by whatever that is there to shroud the martyr. The martyr will get up on the day of judgment with the wounds of jihad. The wounds of jihad will still be on the martyr, but the blood of jihad will smell like musk. It will smell like paradise. It will be better than the smell of paradise. Okay, so if a person dies, it is mustahab that his closest mahram or the closest family member, doesn't have to be mahram but a family member, even if it's a female, another female, or a male, another male, basically closest family member come and close his eyes. So if the eyes are wide open, it's very scary to see. So just use your hands and close the eyelids, because sometimes when the soul is taken out from the person's body, the eyes look at the soul and see where the soul is going, right? Whether to paradise or to the hellfire, right? So close the eyes, then close the joints. the jaw. So if the mouth is open, and it's open wide, and you close the jaw with if you close the jaw, then if it won't stay where it is, only when it won't stay where it is, when it won't stay where it is, then take a piece of cloth and tie from the jaw up to the top of the head. The piece of cloth around the head is to keep the jaw closed. If the jaw is already closed, right, then no need lah. Right? So all these things are all practical steps. They're nothing here is kind of like ritual in a way. They're all practical. A lot of things that you see that happen during the bathing or disease are practical measures to the practical measures to handle a deceased person. Right? So tie the jaw up like that. Okay, if you can't keep it closed, but if you can keep it closed, then it's okay. Right? So even if, like, for example, some people, right, they die, their jaw is closed, and it's the jaw is closed, but the lips are not closed, and the lips are not closed, but the jaw is closed like that. So you see, my teeth can still be seen, right? But I can't do anything more to close my jaw. For example, if I do this, right, no matter how hard I push on my jaw, the lips will not close. Right? I can tie as tight as I want. The lips are not going to close because the jaw is already closed. Right? The lips are only closed by muscle of the lips, like that. Right? So sometimes I see the disease, when I go and help people with the disease, because I can do like I can watch the janazah, and I can do the janazah. But when I go, I see the disease is the mouth is already closed. Like that. Right? It's already closed. And then the people who are there will say, you must tie the cloth around the head. Must tie the cloth around the head. Then I'll say, there's no need, because her jaw is closed. There's no need. The jaw is already closed. But it's just because people are so used to seeing it. And they're used to the ritual of doing that. So they always do that anyway. It's okay lah, do like if you want to do. But you won't make any difference with her jaw, because it's already closed. It's just that her lips are parted. That's all. If you want to close the lips up, then you can just try and push the lips itself lah. Hold the skin together and try and see if you can keep the lips together. Right? But you can't do anything more about the jaw, but the lips are parted. Right? So be very careful, because when they tie the jaw and they tie it up to the top part, right? They use a cloth that's not so thick. They use a thin cloth, so it hurts the deceased by cutting against the skin. And the cloth that you use cannot be thin. They must be wide cloths, so you don't hurt the deceased unnecessarily. That's why they tend to use strips of cloth, so that it is not painful on the deceased. Okay, then to shroud the deceased, right? So inshallah we go into the fiqh in a while, right? To get 3 pieces of cloth, right? And then you shroud the deceased. For women, there are more pieces of cloth, and later on we'll speak about it. Right? So to shroud the deceased, so it says here, okay, after closing the eyes and the jaws, make the joints flexible. Right? So basically, this, okay. Let me just do the series of events. Right? When someone dies, okay, or when someone's about to die. Right? Let me write it down here. Okay, when about to die. First thing, make them face Qibla. Let me type it out like easier. Okay, someone's about to die. Number 1, make them face Qibla. Number 2, make them face the Qibla. Number 2, start to recite La ilaha illa Allah. La ilaha illa over and over again. Right, without telling them to do so. Okay, why not? It's because people get frightened. Right, so if someone's passing away and people around them say la ilaha illallah, say la ilaha illallah, I mean you panic, right? You're like, am I dying? I mean you get frightened, get panicked, then you might not say it. So the best way of doing it is just to go, when you're around the person, you just go La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, like that. Just keep saying it over and over again. The deceased will terikut. he will follow subconsciously. So once you see the person who's about to die, he has said La ilaha illallah, okay, enough. Right, stop. Okay. Recite Surah Ra'd and Yasin. Right, Surah Ra'd and Surah Yasin facilitates the decree. So if the person is meant to die, then it will facilitate the death of the person. If it's meant to live, then it will facilitate the cure of the person. To recite Surah Ra'd and Surah Yasin. Right, and then number 4, right, for every person in the room to have their aurat covered. Right, why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has angels of rahmah, angels of mercy going around the earth, helping out human beings. So when these angels of mercy see someone who's about to pass away, they will come and they will try and make it as easy as possible for the person to pass away. However, if there are people in the household who are not covering their aura, the angels of mercy will not come because they are shy to see aurat. Right? So they will not come into the room and they will not help the person because they're shy. Same things to be said about pictures. They don't like pictures on the wall, especially life-size pictures. So, when someone's passing away, cover all the pictures just in case it's stopping the angels from coming, and the angels helps the person when they're all tengah naza. The angels are the ones who are helping when they are in the state of really having the ruh removed from them. Okay. Okay, this is the etiquette, and then you can see number 5, remove all valuables discreetly. Okay, so try not to make the old person, think that you're going after their money or something. Alright, so just take out the jewelry and keep it by the side. It will be inheritance for their inheritors. Okay. Alright, so if someone is about to die. Okay, so I hope you have taken that one. So when someone has died, it's about to die. Now the next one is has died. Let me put it here. Again. Do you want it? There. Okay. When someone I put here. When someone has died, someone just died. What to do? The first thing first. What to do? The first thing first is close eyes and mouth. That's the first thing to prevent bloating. When you close the eyes and mouth, you are preventing first and foremost people to see them in the disease in a scary state, because with open eyes and open mouths, it's quite scary to see. Right? So to in a sense to guard over the dignity of the deceased. Right. Secondly is to prevent gas from entering the stomach, and then the stomach might bloat when the gas enters the stomach. Okay. Then number 2, to place a cloth on the deceased, then remove the clothes. Okay, and then okay, before that it's number 3. Number 2 is flex the limbs and apply oil or lotion to soften the joints. Okay, alright, so after you have closed the eyes and the mouth, you will go to the joints of the person. Basically, the elbows and the knees are the main ones. Elbows and knees are the main ones because you need to make them align for you to be able to cover the disease properly. Elbows and knees are the main joints. Alright, so you hold the elbow and you move it back and forth. Okay, you move back and forth to keep it able to be moved back and forth, so it will not harden in that way. Right, so you basically flex the limbs, and you flex the knees also to see whether it's okay, and you can see the ankle also as well, so it's not stiff in any direction. Right, so you do that, you flex it. If you're unable to flex it, then right, only when you're unable to flex it, then you can go and get oils, you can get lotions, right, to help you in flexing it. Okay, so then place a cloth over the whole of the deceased. Then from under the cloth, remove the clothes. So have a pair of scissors. If it's needed to cut part of the clothes, cut it, because nobody else is going to wear those clothes. This clothes has someone has passed away in those clothes. No one's going to. You're not going to try and save those clothes. You can't save the clothes. Alright, so have a pair of scissors. Cut the sides of the clothes. Cut the arm area, the sleeve, and so on. Alright, so that when you want to remove it, it's easy. To remove the clothing, you don't have to go to the head, but you can just remove it from the top and then from the bottom of the person. Right, so then after you have done that, right, you can face the deceased towards the Qibla. Anyway, the feet are towards the Qibla. And when just now we spoke about those who are not well, right, but then they are facing death, you face them towards the Qibla by their chest, because they can still lie down on the left, so they lie down on the right. They can lie down on the side. So you make them face the Qibla with their chest. However, the one who has passed away, they cannot lie down on the side. They're unable to. They've passed away. They're gone. They can only lie down on their back, right? So you face the feet towards the Qibla. The feet goes towards the Qibla. Okay. All right. Let me continue the slide. Okay, it is said here that it is mustahab that the one, okay, then after that you place something heavy on the stomach to prevent the stomach from bloating. The thing that is heavy is just to prevent the stomach from doing nothing else. It's just to prevent bloating of the stomach. Right, so something as light as, or as heavy or light as a book, and a normal book, this kind of book, you can put it on the stomach of a deceased to prevent any air from coming in and bloating, and then it will look very ugly with disease. It's mustahab that the one washing the deceased be trustworthy, so that he can be relied on to wash the deceased completely, and so forth. So someone who is who has trust on him, that you know that how he washes is correct. If he sees something good, it's sunnah to go and tell people. If he sees something bad, then it is sunnah for him to keep quiet about it. It is haram to look at the aura of the deceased. So in fact, those who are helping washing, they must be vigilant about keeping the aura of the deceased covered. Because it's haram to actually see the aura of a deceased. It's even more haram to directly touch any of the private parts or any parts of the body except with a cloth. It's haram to actually touch the aura or the private parts of the deceased. Haram. So if you say, but I have to istinja the deceased, then wear a glove. Put a glove on and then use it with the glove to istinja for a deceased, because there could be najis by a deceased at the point of death. It could be, it's possible. Right? So okay, if he knows something good and tell people about it, if it's something evil, then don't talk about it, because it will fall under backbiting. It is haram to look at the aura of deceased or touch it except with the cloth. Okay, it is mustahab not to look and directly touch other parts of the body except with a cloth. Right, so the aura is your private region, which is between the navel and the knee. Okay, so not to look at the navel and knee of a deceased person. Right, that is not permissible to do so. However, you should go and look for a cloth that can be used to completely cover the deceased. It is wajib to perform prayer over the deceased. So after this has been washed and kafan, right, and wrapped, right, then now it is wajib to perform prayer over the deceased. However, it is haram to give a bath to offer. It is haram to give a bath and offer prayer upon the martyr, because the martyr will have to be raised on what he was buried on. So all the blood of the martyr is precious to the martyr, to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. Right? So, and because you don't wash the martyr, you don't pray over the martyr. Prayer can only happen after washing, after removing the compulsion to wash. The obligation is fulfilled if a single Muslim male, right, the obligation of Salat Jum'at, the obligation of the obligation of Salat Jum'at, the obligation is fulfilled even if a single Muslim male who has reached the age of Tamyiz. So maybe a Muslim male who is the age of 6 years old goes to the mosque, he's counted as one of the Jama'ah, right, in the mosque, one of the 40 people who are in the mosque. Right. Allahumma salli Muhammad. Okay. Okay, so if a mumayyiz prays over a deceased, for example, a boy of the age of 10 or 11, they should be mumayyiz already, and they're allowed to pray over the deceased. There's nobody else. It is recommended to perform janazah prayer in a jama'ah or in a group, but you're also allowed to pray alone. I pray the prayer alone. And 2 rakats for subuh is better than the entire world and what is in it. And then after this, immediately to the cemetery and bury. And in Islam, when someone passes away, the process is very fast. Straight away when someone passes away, straight away you wash the person, then straight away you cover the person, then straight away you pray on the person, and before you know it, he's in the ground already. He's really lost and he's in the ground. Okay. Okay, first, any questions on the deceased? فصل أقل الغسل تعميم بدني بالماء وأكثره أن تغسل سوءتيه وأن يزيل القدر من أنفه وأن يوضئه وأن يدرك أن يدلك بصدر وأن يصب بالماء وعليه ثلاث. Okay, section the minimum to wash a deceased or a live person is to pass water over the entire body of a deceased. Right, but the best way to wash the deceased is to wash the organs together with a cloth with your hand. Don't touch it directly. Remove any najis from the nose. Remove any limbs to remove any najis from the nose. To wash the limbs of wudu properly and to rub the body with the lotus leaves. Lotus leaves is a powder. They get the leaves from a lotus tree. They make it into powder, and when they mix it with water, it becomes like soap. It will feel like soap. So it's an olden way of soap lah. And to pour water over the entire body 3 times. Okay. Right, the deceased is buried obligatory. It is best to bury him in the cemetery. Right, every deceased in Islam must be buried accordingly. Every deceased in Islam must be buried accordingly, even a miscarriage. So miscarriage beyond the, it is said that the miscarriage beyond the 4th month, right? A miscarriage beyond, in fact, beyond the, if you can identify beyond the 3rd month or the 4th month, the kind of miscarriage is not a human being, right? So there is no such janazah, and there is no mandi, there is no bathing of the fetus, but you can shroud. You should shroud the fetus and then bury the fetus, but there is no prayer over the fetus. But if the fetus would come out alive, the baby came out alive and then died, and it's something that is stillborn, but the death happened after delivery. So therefore, the human being didn't meet part of this world. So therefore, there is bathing on the human being as well as shrouding. Okay. It is sunnah that no one be present except him, the one who is washing, and an assistant. Only as few people as possible should enter the place of washing the deceased. Not everybody. I don't think you're just because you're your cousin or your auntie or whatever you can enter. No, see how many people are able to enter and then prioritize those who are closest to the person who has passed away. It is sunnah not to mention anything, right? That is bad, but to share all the goodness that you have seen with regards to burying the deceased, right? So right, so incense should be burnt. Incense or good smells should fill the room to attract the angels of mercy into the room. Right, it is wajib for the one washing the deceased to cover the aura of the deceased. He cannot look at the aura of the deceased. He must keep it covered. Right, it is sunnah for that no one be present except him, the one who is washing the assistant. Incense should be burned from the start of washing till finish. You should burn incense the entire time you're washing the deceased, so that the smell of the incense will go to the water that is being used to wash the deceased, and they will make the deceased smell nicer lah, inshallah. It is so that no one be present except the one who's washing. Yes, the incense should be burned from the start. Yes, it is best to wash the body under one room. It means don't wash here, then go somewhere else, then wash somewhere else, then go somewhere, then wash somewhere else. No, wash in one place. Right? And the best the cold water be used. I use cold water on the deceased because the deceased, he just went through the stripping of the soul. The soul was just taken away from the body. The body is very hot, and the deceased wants whatever is cold to numb the pain of leaving this world. Right, so to give them cold water right? And and this will be grateful for that. However, if he wants warm water, then give him warm water lah, and don't insist on things on the deceased, right? And then remove filth that could have that could no otherwise be removed, or when the weather is cold, when this is suffers from it, is a living person, right? So a person, same thing lah, right? So when something is when it's very hot, right, to actually have something that it's very hot, to actually have something Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, right? This is very hot, right? To have something that is very cold, right? On this is like cold water or cold environment, right? For this is they will want that, right? And then Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. All right. But if the weather is cold, if the weather is cold, then if it's too cold, if the weather is too cold, water is too cold, then it can hurt disease. It's how it can hurt the normal human being. Okay. But the disease actually prefers cold weather to hot weather because of the skin being hot at the point of death. Okay, inshallah, we're entering the next section. Any questions so far?
If let's say in the congregation we want to pray for the janazah and there's only women,
No problem. No problem. You can pray. It's counted. It's counted. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? To do wudu for a disease is sunnah, yes. Right, I'll go into the washing in detail, inshallah. Soon. Here's only here the washing here. I've not done this, Yeah, I've not done this, but I was reading the footnotes. But I've not actually gone into the washing yet. Okay. فصل. So فصل أقل الغسل تعميم بدنه بالماء. The minimum wash is to pass water over the entire body, and the best wash is to wash the private organ. And there's a way to wash the private organs, remove the filth from the nose, wash limbs of wudu, and then rub the body with lotus leaves and water on the body. We've gone through this, mashallah. But I'm going to explain it in detail. Okay, when it comes to the wash, the same gender washes the same gender. Female wash female, male wash male. It is permissible for the mahram to come and wash if there's nobody else. It is permissible for the husband or the wife, the spouse, to come and wash if there's a request from the deceased themselves or there's nobody else. And I said that Fatima Zahra, Sayyidina Ali was the one who washed her because she requested. Like she was shy in front of women themselves as well. She was shy in front of women, so she only wanted her husband to wash her. Nobody else can wash her, right? So, but the thing about having your husband wash you is that now, if he needs assistance and only other women can be in the room to assist him, then it has to be like for example, his sisters. Get it? Or your daughters. Right? Because he has to be mahram to those women. He has to be mahram to the woman. Right? So it can't be like so your own sister cannot wash you. Right? But your mother can. If your mother's around lah. Right? So if there's somebody wants their husband to wash them, then if they have daughters, then okay lah. The daughters and granddaughters can go and wash the person if the husband wants to wash together. But the most
cannot, sons.
Sons preferably not, because with the washing of a person, aurat is, even though you have a cloth over you, the cloth gets wet, and so the cloth sticks to the body. So there is a like a a shyness with it, because like the cloth will melekat lah to the breast and everything, like so it's best that the one who is in the room is a female, and they're all female, and the husband, which is something that Allahu alam lah. I this is what I was taught, right? And also you will see it. You feel when you wash the disease, right? Don't try your best to not look directly at the badan or the body of the disease, because you have to wash. You tend to have to see lah. Like there will always be a cloth over. It will never be the case whereby the disease is exposed. It's never the case. Ever. It should never be the case. There will always be a cloth over the entire body of a deceased. But there was once I was watching one of my relatives, and because in Singapore they will call the pengurusan jenazah, right? You call the people who do the jenazah. The jenazah team in Singapore lah. You will call the people and they will come and they do everything. But one thing there was one person that I watched previously. I mean, a few months ago, like watched her. And usually for me, I learned from Tarim and I learned the way to do everything. Because there's always a team of jenazah people too who wash. I won't macam sibuk ah. I mean, I won't like correct them or whatever. I will just assist. I will assist. Because I mean, the last thing they want is somebody, some smart mouth there and commenting on everything, can, right? So I tend to not say anything. I won't say anything. But I will observe and then I will do whatever is needed for me to assist with lah, like to be respectful to them. And it's more of respecting the people with their job, right? But I was very uncomfortable when there was one time whereby the person who came to wash was a woman, one of my aunties who passed away. The one who came and I was asked to come in and help wash lah. That she actually called in the sons to in a sense to call in the sons before the wash to wudukan the mother. Ask the sons to wudukan the mother, which was actually okay lah in that, but because the water kept falling on the cloth that was on top of the mother, the cloth stuck to the body of the mother, right? So the sons were doing the wudu, the cloth was stuck, and three of them did wudu one by one, which there were a lot of fiqh around it lah. Right, that whether is this sunnah, is this makruh, is this necessary, right? And even to do wudu on deceased is sunnah, but the one who's doing wudu needs to niyat for the deceased. The one doing wudu must niyat, I am doing wudu for the deceased. One wudu is enough. Don't have to do several wudus because one wudu is already done. You have done one wudu, right? The third and second, third wudu, all there's no no purpose lah. It's wasting water. Technically, it's wasting water. But then, of course, I would just think that maybe it's more of an emotional thing lah. So I didn't say anything. It's more of like a sentimental thing that people go through to do it, for your mother, it's like kind of thing lah. Because the person was leading it, was saying, to wash your mother's hands, reflect on what she has done for you, and okay lah, it is sentimental lah. That you're bidding farewell to her, right? But yeah lah, the fiqh of that the people who are doing the wudu must know they have to niyat. So when I was sitting by the side, I was thinking like, are they doing the niyat or not doing the niyat? Otherwise the wudu all not sah. The wudu all not sah. Tak counted. So I didn't want to say right? I don't want to be a busybody. So I, in my own heart, I niyat for her. I actually did a niyat. I wasn't also sure if the sons knew to do the niyat. So I went to do the niyat in my own heart. I said, Ya Allah, I don't want to kind of act smart in front of the people who are doing it, the people whose job is to do it. I feel so segan, that I don't want to like step in, and say something or correct something or whatever, like very like action. I don't know what it is like, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. It's a very sensitive issue lah, basically. So I found myself so many times after I learned this in Darim, and I need to, when I go back to Singapore, I want to apply. But I already found myself several times not butting in because I think it's more of the adab. I think this is a whole adab around it, etiquette. That you don't want to be the like a smart mouth lah, basically around there, and then it's correcting all the pegawai. Respect the pegawai. And when they come and they do their work, their job, respect them lah. They've done it a few times, right? I mean, many times. So I won't say anything. Only one time I stepped in and said something because was my grandmother passed away, and the one who was washing did not do the wudu. So when I realized that she was doing the wash, and I said to her, "Aren't you going to do the wudu? Just in case she forgot." And she was like, "No, I shouldn't do wudu." And I said, "I would like that my grandmother get do wudu on her." Then she passed me the hose. No, she passed me the hose, and she was like, "You do lah." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." Right, so that one was the only time I actually stepped in. Other than that, the other washes that I have engaged, that I have been involved in, I never step in. I just okay lah, dismiss whatever I think. It's not haram. It's not haram what they do. So I always tell myself, it's not haram what they do. Right? It might be not necessary, might not be sunnah as well, but maybe sentimental. Sentimental lah. And my grandmother's watch also, after we finished watching the entire thing, the person who was there invited several people to come in to the room. We're not supposed to do that, but she invited people to come in the room and just macam apa, pour water over my grandmother one by one. Which is macro, because as minimum people as possible should be in the room. You shouldn't have, even if she has like 10 daughters, only 2 come in, 2 or 3 come in. Not everybody come in, only 2 or 3. Even if it's your own mother, no, it's her aurat. As minimal as possible, people should be in the room. Right, so it's really so I was watching because they always call me to watch lah, to come in. My family members, they will know that I know to watch, so they will always call me to go in. Right, but then at the same time, even though I know, I don't want to step on the toes of the bukawai. And it's a very hard situation lah to do, and I always wonder whether I should just buy my own materials and buy my own equipment, just do it myself. I just want to be so such a smart mouth, then go and do it yourself lah. You want to comment. And so I tend to not comment. I'll just zip my mouth. But I was very uncomfortable lah. But that person actually called in people one by one to simbai. That one tak ada sunnah, in fact makruh to do that. But it's not haram. I tell myself it's not haram. And okay lah. Then I just stop myself from saying anything. Because you don't want, it's first, the thing about janazah is that people are mourning. The last thing you want to do is make a scene. So you just let it be. But mashallah, it's been ringing in my head lah, whether I should just, but you have to buy a table and then buy the hosting and then because you have the whole thing, right? The whole equipment. If you want all that stuff, you're gonna call the whole team in, right? The whole table for mandi. It's a mandi table that they have, right? I'm not sure whether you can buy one and keep it in the house. I don't think you can actually do that. I'm not even sure you must have a license, is it? Or anybody can mandi any mayat, is it? I don't know. If Singapore has a must have license, kena license. That means must be attached to a particular company, who's doing it. Is it?
Like my neighbor, he got license, so whenever my kids there is any people, female possibly or whatever,
Call her.
they will call her.
But all the equipment comes from the company, right? Company gives the equipment. That's why lah. So usually that means I unless the one who has passed away macam wasiat to me. I know a few people who wasiat to me that they want me to be in charge of their bathing. I have a few people that wasiat kan. So in that case, if that ever happens, then I will have to say to the person that I have the wasiat. And so therefore I will be in charge lah in washing lah.
I think what you say is true, because I ever see one time this person I know for 30 over years, and she passed away, and then I was at there, they didn't come details lah, so I joined them, but I observed they pour one by one, they just, and then they say, hey, this lady, not like, follow in. So I saw a few of them going to bathing. They said they're bathing her, so she's there. I think I saw 4, 5, 6 of them were going one by one. So you say that lady like this lady, okay, after go give her, and what you say is true.
Yeah, it's not appropriate. You're supposed to minimize how many people are there. After kafan can, dah cover everything so beautiful already kan. They already made the mat very beautiful. Then everybody one by one come, put the powder, put the perfume, put the whatever. That's when everybody comes. Not during mandi. Mandi is not the time for everybody to come in one by one. It is during the camphor. Put in the camphor. That is the time everybody come. You can kiss her if you want. You can bid her farewell when she's beautifully in her coffin. That's when everybody come in. Not when she's wet, and the cloth is stuck to the body. And then for women, if cloth is stuck to your body, you're lying down. All of your private parts are the shape can be seen. Guard over her. It's aurat.
I think what you say what I learned. They also know you, my daughter also know they learn from you. So I will inform her, hey, Safinah said, no, you better do this. Because I'm 50 years old, I don't know when my day will come. So it's better for me to inform them rather than you just keep quiet and then they also just unconvert. We don't have many Muslim brothers and sisters. So my convert is only my daughter-in-law, my daughter. So I think I must inform them. Don't let anybody.
Yeah, you must wasiat. You must have wasiat. You say when I pass away, do this. And in fact, wasiat is part of the course also. Whenever I teach janazah course, I will go to wasiat also, because like wasiat, for example, you might want to write down that if, like my mother, she has a wasiat. She told us that if lah, and may Allah, give her long life and give protection. But if she goes into a vegetable state, macam on life support, right? She wasiat to all of us, her children, bring her to the house, don't leave her in the hospital. She wasiatkan. She does not want to be in the hospital. She wants to be at home. So when at the point where you cannot speak for yourself, your wasiat will speak for you. So you write in the wasiat, no matter, so you have to do that, because you don't know, in a state whereby you're in, you can't speak, and people are trying to decide for you what to do with you. So your wasiat will say what you want. If anything, she says to all of us, if anything happens to her and they're going to put her on life support, or she's in a vegetable state, she says, don't leave her in the hospital, bring her back to home, place her on the bed, make her face the qiblat. She wants to just spend her days doing that, play Quran the whole day for her. Or better she say, have one of her children come and read Quran around her instead of recording her and have someone read the Quran. So she macam dah wasiat. Right, so we all know lah that if anything happens, we have to do that. So then the siblings pun don't argue. If not as a children, you might argue with your brothers, your sisters. Somebody will say, Ma likes to go home. No, Ma say Ma should be at the hospital, and then gaduh pula, fight, right? Or what to do with the mother, or what to do with the grandmother. So wasiat is actually very important, so that they know what you want, exactly what you want, inshallah. And you can even wasiat in your wasiat that, okay, with my death, I would like you all to feed the people, buat kenduri, do a khatam for me, do this, do that. You put all this wasiat, so your family members will not even argue about it, and someone will be on it lah, and they will do it for you. So mashallah, so I'll part of the janazah course. When I do janazah course, I'll do the whole thing.
But when my husband went for his course and he passed the course and get a certificate, so do they know all this?
I don't know. I don't know, because I went through janazah course in Tarim. Right, so I know the Tarimi way, but I've seen the Singapore way also, which is there are differences like here and there, which is okay lah, not that much differences. But Tarim they're very like the sunnah, like they really jaga sunnah. So they will wash janazah 7 times, 7 washings. So janazah washing is either 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 or 11. So Tarim they'll do it 7 times, 7 janazah wash, 7 washing of janazah. I think Singapore, because of time constraint, I think, and now COVID lagi worse, they will do 1 washing, like, or sometimes I've seen 3 washings, depending on time constraint, because sometimes they have to go to several janazahs to wash, so they can't actually sit there and wash for a few hours. They have to go chop half an hour, gone, finish already. Kalau Tarim they wash, take 3 hours to wash janazah. No one's going to wait for you in Singapore. Everybody want to go to work. That's why.
My children are taking the course by one ustaz who's from Tarim. Study for many years, 10 years, and they're having now online classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Wednesday is the TK.
Mashallah, very mashallah. So inshallah next, inshallah.
Monday we are having Tawheed and all this. So now we have 3 classes.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Inshallah next week I will go through again in detail of the washing from the beginning to the end of the washing, and I want to take note of the sunnah parts of washing and everything. So inshallah lah, so I'll spend some time here lah, inshallah, instead of rushing through, inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah.